You know what time it is. Boom shakalaka! Yes, yes. All right, we are live here.
Yes, and it is official. After you hit the boom shakalaka, that's it. We are ready to go.
Yes.
There we go.
Got it.
There we go.
The show begins right now.
There we go.
It's a wonderful, wonderful, breezy fall, autumn afternoon. And we have some great guests today, Chaveevah.
Oh yes, we always have great guests. I'm just so proud of that. And I'm also very happy that we have today with us Reverend Abraham
I'm glad to be with you. I'm glad to be with you.
Yes.
Oh, our microphone, Chaveevah.
Oh,
I'll set up the microphone.
Oh.
Go ahead.
While we're
Keep
talking loud, we also are very
Yes.
pleased to have Dr. Latrisha Hylton.
It's a pleasure.
Yep, thank you so much, both of you, for being with us.
Thank you.
Well, as you can see, well, you already know we kind of operate on a shoestring, and you're used to seeing us get up and move around and do other things during the show because, hey, that's just the way it is. I guess when we start bringing in the big bucks, we will have people behind the scenes to
It's
do
right
that.
around the corner, right around the corner.
Right, which is saying we miss you, Agnes and Ed. They would have had all this done. But anyway, welcome, Dr. Latrisha Hylton. We always start with ladies first. Why don't you tell us, for the few people that don't know who you are, because you don't have a Facebook presence, so we had to kind of spy on you to find out exactly what you did. And speak up, please. Well, what do you do?
Well, what do? I like the fact that you phrased that way. What I do, I work at UNI as an educator, and I work specifically with students that are in the STEM field. So I work with training and developing their skills in order to be successful in the collegiate environment and also in the workplace. Specifically, what I do is I want them to move through the PhD pipeline, so that we have more representation in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics for our students to see. So that's my job at UNI. And in the community, I sit on some boards in the community, Royal Legacy Christian Academy. And
Yay,
also,
Royal Legacy, yes.
And Unite Credit Union, and I choose those deliberately because of their purpose. In Unite Credit Union, because I think our community needs to understand and have a good level of financial literacy, and also with Royal Legacy, the Christian aspect of education, the soul aspect of education is important for our students' well-being.
Yes, wow, that's a great quick overview. And Reverend Funchess, you are the pastor of Jubilee United Methodist Church, as well as being our Human Rights Commissioner, Director of Human Rights.
Absolutely. I'm the proud pastor of Jubilee UMC Freedom Center, and I've been working as Director of World Commission on Human Rights for the last 10 years, going into my 11th year, and it's never a dull moment between the two vocational experiences, which blend very well, actually. We engage in an ongoing social justice struggle in order to make communities stronger day by day. So, very happy to be here.
Right. Well, thank you so much. And we're going to get a little bit in depth with these fine leaders in our community and find out why they make us all look Waterloo proud.
That's right.
Make us all look good in just a minute. But we want to remind everyone that we are being safe today.
Yes.
We've all brought our masks and we are socially distanced. And we're being safe, and we want you to all remember that to take this pandemic seriously, because so many lives have been lost and so many families are still hurting right now.
Yes, absolutely. And we enjoy having fun in whatever ways that we can, but we are always mindful that we are in the midst of this, and so we try to take the proper precautions.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you guys don't know this, but we're at home. You guys are out there in the field doing what you do. You're at work at UNI now, and you go back and forth to your office.
Sure.
But Chaveevah and I are both retired, so we got kind of bored. I mean, we're doing the show, which keeps us busy, But we thought, you know what? We were at home ordering new clothes, you know, orange, orange dresses and things.
Right.
So we thought, why not have a show where we can show off our clothes? Because you don't have anywhere to wear them. So we're doing the Friday runway.
That's right.
That's great. So every Friday after the show around 6:30, we have some ladies that come and show us what outfits they would wear if they had a place to go.
Exactly.
And India Johnson is taking on the fact that we have a lot of designers here in the local community. So we want to ask you designers, you people that have a shop and you have clothes that you like to model or share to promote your shop or your art or your craft, then let us know, and you can be a part of our Friday runway.
Yes, it's a great way to share your creativity and again have a little fun. Why not? Yeah, and wear those things that you would if you had someplace to go.
Right.
You know, if things were open in the same way that they were before COVID, you know.
Right.
Yeah, dress up and look nice anyway.
Men and women.
Men and women.
Couples. So if you're feeling the need to show off that new hat, that new scarf, you know, whatever you got, just let us know. Okay, now we're going to do a little segment called Give It Air because exposure is the best disinfectant. We don't have to look very far to find that justice has not been served again, Reverend Funchess, with Breonna Taylor. We are not surprised that there hasn't been, we were hoping for some type of justice. But again, here we go.
Yeah, it's tragic. It's tragic. The cops, they were exonerated for the bullets that actually killed Breonna Taylor, but they're found guilty for the bullets that missed her. And that sends a message that's absolutely scary. I don't know what they're communicating to us, but we know that people have been fighting Black Lives Matter, and this is just a constant reminder. I think I saw Joyce Livingston put something out there that our lives really don't matter in the great scheme of things. So we just got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, the predictability of it, I guess we all sort of absolutely hoped for a better outcome.
Yeah.
When I first saw the headline that said indictment, I just knew it was going to have something to do with Breonna. And when I saw that it really didn't, it was just, you left speechless.
Yeah.
Heartbroken.
Absolutely.
In a rage, you know, just, I could go on, but I won't. Yeah.
Do you have any comments that you'd like to share about your reaction when you understood that there would be no recourse for the officers or no charges against him for the bullets that actually took her life away?
Well, it's interesting that the city let us know there was not going to be any, because you would not need to protect the city or any other part of the institution if you knew you were doing what was right and good. So when they started barricading, I already knew the answer. I already knew the response.
Yes.
So, and I think that's the thing that we, as Black people, we already know a lot of the responses. We've lived through this. We've been through this history. And our expectations have been disappointed. And so I think it's important for us to recognize that and grieve that, but also recognize we can't trust the system.
That's right.
And our hope and our deliverance is not coming from the system. And that is so important for us to understand. We can march, we can protest, but know that the deliverance is not going to come from this system.
Wow.
There it is.
There it is. Well, thank you so much for your comments on that. And we could, of course, we could expound on this subject for a long time and actually get into where our hope and answers do come from. But that's a whole nother show.
Yes, it is.
And today we gave that some air. Go to a hashtag Give It Air to find some other subjects that are sometimes overlooked because they're so difficult to talk about. All right, so we're going to ask both of you. I think we'll start with you. Chaveevah, our question for our guest today.
Yeah, actually, we have a question for both of you, but we'd just like to start with asking you basically what advice would you give for the mental and spiritual well-being, because these sort of things impact us all the time, and just some advice that you would give to help everybody really, but especially those of us who feel kicked aside once again.
Yeah, I think what I would just remind everyone is that we learn in so many different ways, and when things don't materialize the way we had hoped they would be, we have to explore what is the lesson I might learn here. And for those of us who love the Bible, or Christians perhaps, we learn in so many different ways. We learn from Scripture, but you also learn from your deepest self, and you also learn from the voice of the stranger. So sometimes we're interacting with people who may not have anything in common with us per se, but there's something that we can learn from them. And so even when we look at circumstances surrounding Breonna Taylor in Louisville, Kentucky, we can hear the voices of those on both sides of the equation talking about what happened, and we can learn something that empowers us to stay on our journey, keep pushing forward, continue to knock down the barriers that are before us, because eventually you're going to reach your destiny, but you got to stick with it. And I guess I would just say, keep the faith, hold on. Yeah, keep the faith, hold on.
As we've always done. And for you, Dr. Hilton, what kind of advice would you give to people that feel downtrodden right now and feel like not again?
That's a lot.
That's a lot. Yes,
it's a lot, because my gosh, it's a lot. Well, to start, I would say deal with your holistic self. And that goes back again to this dynamic that Black people, we can be one way in our community, and then we have to code switch and do all kinds of switching outside of our community. So you have to think about your holistic self when you are in this environment. So you're going to have a totally different demeanor, attitude when you are out in the community, but when you're in your community, it's different. But we have to speak to both of those, because that's part of who we are. And so we have to deal with our holistic self. And if we aren't able to deal with our holistic self, our psyche, our emotions, our spirit, our soul, then we're not able to navigate this. And I think sometimes we don't think about it, because we have had to stomach some things and just accept it. But I think that's the truth that we have to come out and deal with, is the impact this is having on me psychologically, socially, economically, in so many realms. Because what happens in America happens to Black people first, and then you see it move up the chain and the ladder. And so experience has taught us that. But in taking care of our holistic self, as I was thinking about that, we have to name our truth. Okay? And the truth of the matter is that you are valued. The Word of God said that greater love had no man than this, that he laid down his life for his friend. So you are valued. Someone laid down their life for you. Not in this system. He did come into this system. Christ came into this system, and he laid down his life for you. So recognize that your value is beyond what people see when they look at you. And then also be able to recognize that you are chosen. Christ said, you have not chosen me, but I have chosen you. It's interesting to me that the person that helped to bear Jesus' cross, to bear Jesus' infirmity, was the man of Cyrene, Simon of Cyrene, which was a Black man. So I think he identified with Christ's sorrow, and Christ identifies with our sorrow also. And so we really have to take the time to process this holistically and to think through it. And the other part of it is that you are known. We forget that we are known. You know, our society talks about the famous, and we see the images of the famous, and we wonder and we question, does anybody know my name? Does anybody, and that's the whole part of the Black Lives Matters movement, is that this idea that I am known, I'm valued, I'm worth something,
Yes.
I have a place, and we do that. And once we sit back and process it, we are able to get back up and go out there and do ourselves and live our lives holistically. But we have to take the time to process it, and it's not a one-day thing.
No, and it's not
It's
a
not
one question answer.
No.
That's why she said this is a lot, and she unpacked it all. Did y'all catch that? I hope that the microphone picked it up. Our North End Update page may have had a little bit, but thank you so much for expounding and kind of letting us know, because that's very true. You know, you have to approach yourself holistically, because there's so many compartments. It is. Yes. Okay, so we have a great time. We want to remind you, birthday people, that these two spiritual leaders are going to be singing an A and B selection for birthday people. Travis, I hope you're watching. We got a beautiful quartet. I might hum a little bit myself. So birthday people, stay around. And also last week, did you happen to catch our show?
I didn't catch everything.
You didn't. Well, we had the mayor, Mayor Quentin Hart, and we had a great show with him, Chaveevah. He was cutting up, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. I think just letting off a little bit of steam, because sometimes also in the midst of everything that's going on now, we do just have to let off a little bit of steam.
And that is true.
Yes.
You know, and that's the other part of this, is that don't let people's expectation cause you to bottle your emotions and your feelings, because the feelings are real. They might not live it, other people might not understand it, but the feelings that you are, they're legitimate, and give them space, name them, say them, deal with them, because they're real.
That's right.
It's reality.
Absolutely.
That's true. Go into your prayer closet and let it out.
This is, I was going to say, this is the last week that we really need to remind folks about the census.
Yes.
To get that taken care of, because I think the
29th.
Right.
The 30th.
30th,
Yeah.
the end of this month is
Yeah.
it, as far as getting that done. You can go online and do that. It's very important to be counted, because representation matters.
My census, is it, no, census.gov. Just go there, right?
Okay.
And sign up.
Or census2020.gov. You will find it. Go there, you will find it. Please do that.
Right. What do you know about the census?
Well, we've got Complete the Census out there on the sign that hangs out there on News Street.
Yes.
And I've done some Facebook presentations about the census and the importance of the vote 2 months ago.
Right.
Because I realize how important it is, and we want people to be engaged. Actually, I'm a little optimistic, because I thought a federal judge blocked the request to end the census at the end of September, to give it at least another month. Don't quote me on that, but I'm hoping that's the case. Because, you know, everybody realizes that the new Trumpian deadlines for all of this are just unrealistic. As a matter of fact, I think I quote somebody that said, either whoever suggested that has a mental deficiency, or it is based on some political motivation. So it's one of the two. Yeah,
one of the two, and neither one sounds good. You also have a new blood drive going. You gave us a flyer. Talk about that.
Yes, well, I'm working with Latanya Graves with the NAACP, and actually, we don't have our name there, but the Human Rights Commission also wants to join with the Waterloo NAACP and engage in a blood drive, a work that will be happening in this very hall, the Hazel Dorothy Scott Hall here at Jubilee UMC Freedom Center. So if anybody wants to give the gift of life, the idea of donating blood is a wonderful way to do it. And so from 3 to 7 next Friday, October 2.
Next Friday from 3 to 7. And I don't know where we are, but that might be a good place for us to go live. We'll have to look into that.
Yeah, we would love to have you.
Do you have any comments?
Just, we've got Chanel Berry saying
Hey,
hello
Nelly.
to us.
Yeah.
Greg Young is saying greetings from Waterloo Bicycle Works.
We love
Caroline Galloway, Lori Andale, you know what she said.
Boom shakalaka.
Beautiful people, yes indeed.
Yeah.
And my cousin Eric, hey cuz, my cousin Eric Garrett is watching.
Thank you
right.
for watching. And you know, we're going to be with Grant Veeder to talk about voting
Oh, yes.
at the bicycle shop. Well, actually in Ananda Dance Studio.
Yeah.
So watch next Thursday at 1 o'clock. We're going to have Pre-Boom talking about voting, and he'll let us know all about
Yes. And we want to remind you right now that we've got it posted on our page, satellite locations for absentee voting. That's going to be going on in Black Hawk County starting October 6th through the 20th, and there's a full list of time and locations.
Yeah.
Right. And all I can say about voting, we already told everybody on our North End Update page that we will not be posting any more pictures of number 45 on our wall. It causes too much problems. And you know, the only thing I can say about voting and the feelings that we talked about, you know, go take your frustrations to the polls, whatever. When you're crying, when you're grieving, take it all to the polls.
right.
You know, in church we say take it to God. Take God with you to the polls. Get to the polls and vote.
And as far as we've always been very, very open about having civil discourse on our page,
Sure.
but here lately it has not been very civil, okay?
Right.
So I just, that's been on us to keep it in that vein. So we do like discussing certain things, but if you find that you're having difficulty being, you know, keeping things in a certain lane.
But don't worry about it, because we're not putting that on our wall.
Oh, thank you.
So we're not going to have
because,
to
you know,
address anything that has to do with
I am
that.
so nice. I don't want to ruin anybody's
No, we don't want to see
image
her
or what
back.
can come out of me. So
Right.
let's just.
Okay, so our next hashtag, and then we're going to get to asking our great guests some questions. Our next hashtag is change gonna come. And we all know that change is gonna come, right? We've been counting on it and counting on it for years and years, and gradually we do get to see change. Today, the first woman and the first Jewish person was to lie in state at the Capitol today.
Indeed.
So how about that? I
Yeah.
mean, what and how monumental and great for this woman to be the first.
Right.
Talk about Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Yeah, I just think she's phenomenal. Obviously, she's done a lot, you know, for the advancement of women. One of the things I was thinking about is the Ledbetter bill that I think she helped champion about equal pay for equal work, and the fact that she's lying in state, and she you know, had all women, I think, involved in the funeral ceremony.
Right,
Yeah,
the
it was a wonderful
opera
testament.
singer.
Yeah, the opera
pianist,
singer.
yeah.
Yeah, everybody was just absolutely beautiful. It was multiracial. So this notion of coalition building and her ability to pull people together from all sectors of community. And even in death, in the same way that, you know, the other great Congressman, John Lewis, was able to do, somehow send a message and bring people together even after they have already transcended and left us. So I think that's kind of special. But yeah, she's wonderful. She had overcome hurdles herself. She graduated at the top of her class and she couldn't get a job. You know, so I just think that's absolutely phenomenal. We can relate.
Right, we can
relate to that.
We
Yes.
can relate.
Yeah,
We've got
and
friends that, you know, have been looking for jobs and overqualified, you know, the whole thing. So,
But she persevered and became the Supreme Court Justice.
yes,
Yeah.
and her quote said, in essence, find things that make, kind of like us, keep doing what makes you awesome. But do you know the quote I'm speaking of,
not
where
really,
she
not
says,
really.
but find a way to have others join in with you.
Oh,
you
that's
know?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would
So-
mess it up. So
No,
I
I've
don't
already done
remember.
it. Yeah. So yeah, we just want to give due credit to RB.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. She
One
paid her
thing I
price.
liked how the students at her alma mater, I think it was, just gave her that name.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
It was
Indeed.
great. It was a good testament to her work.
Absolutely.
And for those students to recognize that.
And so many are going to be dressed as her for this year's celebrations
Oh.
for Halloween and all that. Their little girls are wearing the big glasses and the collars and all that.
How about that? How
Yeah.
about that?
You know, touching on what Reverend Funchess said, I think even her death in this season helps us to recognize how when we persevere through adversity, what we can do. And looking at her death, my question to our community is, what are we going to do with our experiences?
Right.
With the difficulties. We could sit back and say they're not going to change, but are we willing to do the work to change it?
Yeah.
Good point.
She's suffered. I mean, the top of her class. New York City has enough lawyers and law buildings,
Oh yeah.
and yet she could not find a job.
She
Right.
could have done it.
Right.
So she
Yes.
started a movement.
She sure did,
Yeah.
and it lasted for years. And
Yes.
even in death, she's blessed us all. So.
Yes, she has.
All right, we have to ask you the question. We're getting short on time. We just get to talking. Do you subscribe to the Soul Town?
Town.
I do.
Soul Town.
You do.
All
She
right.
does.
Yeah.
She says she does.
All right. That's fantastic. Everyone that joins us has heard us talk every week about the Soul Town. Their motto is immortalizing our stories to implore positive progress in our communities. This is a cyber community and it's worldwide. And the stories and the topics that are touched on are timely and wonderful. And yes, a visit to Paisley Park is
Awesome.
the feature this month. So
And you can visit North End Update because you can press play virtually and watch this show.
That's
and for
right.
anything that you didn't catch today, you can watch it over again and see
That's
Dr.
powerful.
Latrisha Hylton, Reverend Abraham Funchess, and us
that's right.
on 19 planets
Okay.
and
3 solar systems.
and
Yeah.
through the solar system.
Wow, you
Go
guys
to-
out there.
Yeah, we're out
You're in the
there.
galaxy.
The soultown.com. Okay, now we get to shout out to our crew, which we love, Ed, and we want to thank our binge watchers, Chaveevah.
Mhm, yes, we do. Again, during this COVID time, since we're on, what's the thing?
YouTube.
Yes, you can go back and catch old episodes and just
Yeah.
see all kinds of fantastic people and have a few laughs.
Vintage.
There've been some good
episodes.
shows.
Vintage episodes, yes.
All right.
When my hair was dark and short.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Also, now we're going to talk to our guests. We kind of got a little bit of information about you, and you only have probably about 3 minutes because our time is running short.
No, that's not a problem.
Yes, but we want to talk to you and ask you, what do you do as an LSAMP coordinator?
The LSAP? Okay.
LSAP.
So
yes.
LSAP stands for the Lewis Stokes, Senator Lewis, who actually started this grant through the federal government. So
Oh, it's a grant.
It is, through the National Science Foundation. So it stands for Lewis Stokes Alliance for Minority Participation. So that is the work I do to prepare multicultural students to be successful in STEM. So science, technology, engineering, mathematics. And my job is to work with those students to build their skills to be able to survive PhDs. So I train them, develop them at the undergraduate level, so the university level, help them to build the skills, help them to navigate the curriculum in order that they could go through the PhD pipeline successfully.
Wow.
Wow.
That sounds
is-
like a super task that calls for a superwoman.
Oh, I'm telling you, I'm
Yes.
thinking they need
Yeah,
a
no
bronze
kidding.
statue or something of just you, because if you do all that, I mean, math,
Yeah,
science,
it's
and
heavy.
technology,
Mhm.
that is some heavy
Yeah.
stuff.
It's fun stuff.
Is
Yeah.
it fun?
It's fun stuff.
Well, I tell you, your light spirit and your congeniality and all that is certainly, if I was you, I would be walking around mad and confused all the time. All that on your mind, and you're the most calming. And so tell people how they can get involved with your program if they're interested in any of these fields.
Well, if their students are in the school system, I am more than willing to talk to them about what they need to do, because it actually does start at the K-12 system. And Waterloo schools have done a good job with the Career Center and working with the technology and helping to build that into the student's choice.
Oh,
for
the
their
Career
education.
Center that we hear so much about.
Yeah, so that is an aspect that also gives students hands-on experience. And so if your child is prone towards those, parents encourage them, give them the space to experiment and to see what is possible, and give those spaces to the students. And so K-12 is where it starts. Don't discourage them. Recognize that the work is hard, but the work is beautiful work. And you look around us, you see mathematics in our community, you see science, you see technology. It's one of those areas where your life is lived out, is in those fields. So they impact our life. And students, if they have questions, they are welcome to contact me through the UNI website. My name is Latrisha, Latricia.Hylton, Hylton @uni.edu. My number is 319-273-3489, and I'll be more than happy to talk to any young person or parent about how to get involved.
Wow, you see how she used her 3 minutes up real
wonderfully.
well. Isn't that great? Phone number and everything, and we will definitely print that in the comments for our viewers to watch.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for
You're
doing
welcome.
this.
My pleasure.
Oh, what an honor. You know, now I've been knowing her for a while. I had no clue that she was this brilliant.
Yes.
And just a bright light for
In our
so
community.
many to look
See,
up
this
to.
is one of the reasons why we do this show.
Right.
We have so many wonderful people in our
Absolutely.
community.
Absolutely.
You know, you can't throw a rock, not that I would throw a rock at you, but you can't throw a rock without hitting
That's right.
somebody fantastic in our
Absolutely.
community. And thank you so much. Thank you both.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
No.
And of course, she's kind of new, but we've been knowing you.
Oh, yes.
Go ahead.
Yes. Well, Reverend Funchess, what I would like to know from you, as far as the director of the Human Rights Commission, what has been the Human Rights Commission role in dealing with the community and helping individuals sort of navigate these things that are going on right now?
Right. Well, I guess it begins by understanding our mission. And our mission, quite frankly, and I'm going to try to say this very succinctly, but it is to fight discrimination and try to remove barriers that keep people from living up to their full production capabilities. So the way we fight discrimination is, of course, by legally examining their complaints and determining whether or not they were in fact legally discriminated against. But we also try to be proactive, and we try to educate the community about racism, the idea of being able to identify and describe racism, as Ibram X. Kendi would say, and then being able to move beyond that and dismantling it. And so right now in the community, as a matter of fact, we're reading the book, How to Be an Anti-Racist. And so there's a wonderful community collaborative that's spearheaded by the University of Northern Iowa, Gwen Berry, who's the Chief Diversity Officer there. But we're hoping that throughout the month of October, we can get 100+ people reading the book. And hopefully there'll be a lot of positive conversation that comes out of this that causes people to think a little bit more about what racism actually looks like. How does it filter throughout the community? But most importantly, after we identify it and describe it, what do we do to dismantle it? What policies do we create to change it? And I would dare say that the police logo is something that I would want people to think about as we move throughout this discussion.
Right.
Yeah, the police logo.
I'm so glad you said that. Not necessarily about the logo, but just in general. You said looking at the legal aspects of what racism is and stuff like that, or if people have really been discriminated against. There are some laws that are legal but are not moral as far as the way these things are done. So then dismantling would move things a step further into how those things can change, right?
Absolutely.
Changing
Absolutely.
laws and practices.
Absolutely, and to me that is absolutely critical, because it's one thing to identify and describe it, but we won't want to stop there. That would be insufficient. We have to then at some point, once we come into a new recognition of what's really going on and there's collective buy-in, then hopefully we can begin to dismantle it through policy change, through changing the law, through creating new ordinances like the one that the Waterloo Commission on Human Rights introduced with respect to the Fair Chance Initiative.
Right.
We were able to recognize that there are a lot of people with criminal arrests in their background that don't get a fair opportunity to interview on jobs because of their background. And all over the country, people are trying to address and redress that. And now this particular ordinance that was passed here in the city of Waterloo is going before the Iowa Supreme Court. So we're hoping that something good materializes out of that.
Yes. Well, you used your 3 minutes up really well as well.
Because you put a lot of pressure on.
Right. Yeah. And we are always trying to figure out ways to get all these things talked about and, give our guests ample time to kind of let our viewers know who you are and what you do. And we
Appreciate
really
the opportunity.
Yes, thank you both for the great work you do.
Yes,
thanks.
Great work.
absolutely.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
And we thought we were just having fun, Rob.
Right. We love doing it. We love meeting all the great people and finding out what you do.
I think Pat Kennedy calls you all the ambassadors of what? Goodwill ambassadors of Waterloo, doesn't it?
Oh, bless his heart.
Yeah,
Well,
Pat Kennedy. Pat Kennedy.
we love Pat. He's
Yeah.
always
I used to work
giving
with him
encouragement.
at the Curve.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yes. And we plan on having you on regularly,
Oh.
so we can kind of keep caught up on,
Anytime.
especially with this climate that's
Yes.
going on. We want to make
Yeah.
sure that everyone's feeling equal, or at least gaining ground towards that.
Sure.
And one thing I would say that Dr. Funchess pointed out is the legal things in our community. We have to really become educators of what the legal system is.
Oh, yes.
Because that is what is driving a lot of these things. And we're not seated at the table to write the law.
Okay.
So how can we get get our seat at the table?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So do you have any comments, Chaveevah? Anything else? Are there other questions?
Just a couple folks joining us. Yvonne Volchev.
Oh,
Mr.
Yvonne.
Funchess in the house.
Is she the one in Germany?
No, Yvonne. That's a him.
Yvonne. Okay. Hi.
I want to say
yes.
Ivan.
Yes, yes,
Ivan.
yes.
Ivan.
Oh, of course.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. Good brother. Good brother. Look right on the corner there.
Okay.
And Melissa Houseman Altman is also watching.
She's
so
always
again, for the folks on our Rocki and Chaveevah page and on our North End Update page, thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Right, and we have a viewer in Germany that's been watching us every
That's
week,
great.
and we just love you as well, and thank you for your interest in our show. And now, it's what we promised you for. We're gonna have the songs by these wonderful singers. You sing tenor, don't you? Is it tenor?
Yeah, I thought that's what I was saying. I don't know what people tell me.
You gotta do a little
I just try to carry a tune.
You
That's
said
all.
Barry Manilow, remember? Or you could go for Barry White, whichever one you feel today. And you can be who? Tina Turner, kind of?
Whichever.
Okay. And we're just gonna be Rocki and Chaveevah. We're gonna sing happy birthday to these wonderful birthday people, Chaveevah. We have.
We're starting with Ryan Stevenson. Happy
Hey, Ryan.
birthday.
Hey, Ryan.
Ivan Ivan Volchev. Joyce Ann Wilder.
Joycey.
Patrick Osaka Antipas.
Yes.
Caroline Galloway.
And Quanika Chris, happy birthday. DeCarlos Anderson. Travis Lee Ferguson, I remember that bird.
Yes,
And Christopher, how do you say it?
I don't know, Christopher. We try not to mess your name up, but I believe it's Okiishi.
Okiishi and Sean Taylor. Chaveevah.
All right, Daryl Kincaid. Gary Crawford Sr. Eric Garrett, hey, cuz, I don't know if you hung on to the end, but happy birthday. And also Mark Forney.
Yes, Mark Forney, Waterloo Proud.
Yeah.
And we love to sing the Stevie Wonder version.
Oh, I like that version.
You like that version,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
I like to do a little percussion, you know. And it goes something like this. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday, happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. All right.
Happy birthday.
Really good.
I think it's the acoustics.
I
don't
think
know.
it is.
It's good acoustics in here.
Yeah.
And it's so
at the
nice.
Hazel Dorothy Scott Hall.
It is the Dorothy Scott Hall.
The
and
Hazel
she's- the
Dorothy Scott
Hazel
Hall.
Dorothy
Yeah, the
Scott.
acoustics is really good.
It should be, isn't it nice to have a man to sing?
Yes.
It's nice to have that bass line, you know, that depth.
Oh, well, good.
Thank
Well, I'm
you.
glad I was here today.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
everybody who had a birthday in the last month, they should feel good today. Though.
There you
Yes,
go.
Good.
right, indeed,
Yeah.
indeed. And though in memory of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, we were all women, but we were happy that you could
I'm
be
honored.
here to accompany us.
I'm honored.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, I'm honored.
All right. Well, I think that wraps up another good show, Chaveevah.
Yes, indeed. We made it all the way to the end. We went a little bit over, but y'all know how we do.
Yes.
That's okay. That's not a problem.
Right. Again, we want to thank you all for watching and joining us. Look for the contact information for both of our guests in the comments. And until next time, Chaveevah and
Yes.
Latrisha and Reverend Funchess, keep doing more of what makes you awesome.
Because it
Because
makes
Makes
us
us
all look good.
See you next
Cheers.
time.
See you next
All
time.
right.